when people got stuck in the PTSD symptom, like you mentioned about depression, anxiety, doesn't mean the person is not a spiritual. As a Christians, we know I go to church, I pray, I read my Bible, but why I still, go through those kind of things in the daily life. So people really struggle with that.
Oh yeah, in fact, this really was probably the number one reason why I got involved in mental health, because I was an anesthetist, an anesthesiologist. So, I put people to sleep. We didn't have to have any contact with patients at all. You didn't have to talk to them, you just put them to sleep. But I was in a small town with a small hospital. So in the afternoons, I was also a general practitioner. And in general practice, I just couldn't believe the number of people coming to see me with mental health problems. And most were Christians, because I was a Christian, I attracted a Christian population. And I had no idea that Christians were suffering so much. I grew up in the Christian community that said, we're all fine, we're all walking in victory all the time. And so no one was brave enough to admit that they were struggling with their mood. So I just didn't think anyone did. And they were pouring into my office. And I felt so badly because these Christians were suffering unnecessarily. They felt separated from God, that God was unhappy with them. Their lives were falling apart, and they didn't know who to trust or talk to. And so I got involved in mental health because I thought someone needs to help these Christians realize that they don't have to suffer this way. And so then I started treating depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder with medicines. Their mind cleared. And one lady says, when I take my medicines, God reappears in my life, because her mind is clear enough that she can connect with him.
So for us as a Christians, because this conference presented primarily for our faith community, I believe many believers are watching. So let me ask you, Dr. Mullen, is taking medication a lack of faith? And is it safe for Christians?
Yeah, well, this is an enormously big issue, and I'm surprised it's still a big issue from when I started in mental health. But many Christians would come to me and they were profoundly depressed. They had a low serotonin level. They needed to have medications to bring their serotonin level back up so they get thought control. But they had been actually told by Christians and even Christian leaders not to take medicines, that if they take medicines, they are using a secular or even a demonic treatment for a spiritual issue. And so I had many patients come off their medicines as soon as their pastors or leaders or friends found out that they had come to see me. And because they said it's a faith issue, because when you're depressed or anxious, it does interfere with your walk with God. And also it's a shame issue too among Christians, because the Bible says, be anxious for nothing, and always be hopeful, always be cheerful, and that if you're a Christian, you have hope. Well, depression removes hope. Anxiety makes you worry, and you have no control over it if you have a low serotonin level. And so Christians came to me, they were so ashamed that they were feeling this way. So they felt God must be upset with them. It's a faith issue because I'm disobeying the Bible. Not realizing, until I explained it to them, that if you have a chemical imbalance, you've lost control of your ability to stop worrying and to be hopeful. And if you take your medicines, you can actually recover that. And so that's why Christians have been some Christians are so resistant to taking medicines, because they see faith symptoms. In other words, worry and hopelessness. They say those are faith symptoms. So it must have a faith cause and it must have a faith solution. Well, see, this is the great exception. Those are faith symptoms with a medical problem, caused by a medical problem, with a medical solution. Restore your serotonin level, God reappears, your faith is strong again. And so that's why Christians have been resistant, because they haven't had it explained to them in the church community that there are medical conditions that give you faith symptoms and give you all these symptoms which make it impossible to follow the Bible instructions. And then, unfortunately, there are still people in Christian media that say that antidepressants are a tool of the devil. They put you under a demonic principality called pharmacopoeia, apparently, and that even damages your brain. And this is because the reason I know this is still going on is because people write to me after they watch these TV shows. They write to me and say, I realize now I can't take my medicines anymore because I saw this on Christian television, I've stopped my medicines, but now I want to kill myself. And so what do I do now? And so there's still confusion in the church, but that's the reason for it. It's because there are faith symptoms, and we just wrongly assume that the treatment has to be faith. But these are safe medicines, and you can have your serotonin level restored and your mood restored and your mind cleared. Another example I give is for Christians. I said, if you wear glasses, does that mean it's a lack of faith that you're wearing your glasses? Well, if you have a low serotonin level, you can take your medicines the same way you can wear your glasses, and God was not disappointed with you.